Hi, everybody. So I just wanted to give a few minutes for everybody to get in, but I wanted everybody to know I just dropped a link in the chat, and it's basically the deck that we're going to be using today so that you can have it in the future. You can take your own notes and we can go from there. So first, I'm very happy that you're all here. Today, I'm going to be speaking about audience analysis, and basically it's geared towards the designers. So I hope that I can make it fun and creative so that I don't bore anybody. It's basically about public speaking and understanding your audience. So as you know, in design is life, and it's very important for us to design everything that we do. Every time that I go on stage to speak, I design my speech, I design my outfit, I design the room, I design how I'm going to speak to people, how I'm going to look, if I'm going to use a microphone or not. Again, design is life, and it's a very, very important aspect of public speaking. So save your link down below. I'd like to know where everybody is from, and tell us something nice that's happened to you in the past week too. Hopefully lots of great things has been happening to everybody. So yeah, we'll go from there, and I'm going to drop some polls every once in a while into the chat, and they're fun and interactive. So if you're ready to go, let's go ahead. So first of all, my name is Brandie Janow. I think that I know many of you all. I know that it's a super awkward time in the rest of the world. I know that most of our ADP list is tuning in from America. It's very early there. I'm aware that it is, but we really never have anything on our side of the world. So I really wanted to do something for the Eastern side of the world and to record it, and I will upload it to the YouTube so that everybody else can watch it tomorrow. I just felt like it's kind of nice for us to have something for us every once in a while. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And so I just wanted you all to know down at the bottom of the screen, you should be able to see a question and an answer. I would really like it for you all if you would put your questions and answers there so that I can have it in one full list and I can like keep it for later and that I can ask everything. I really want you to know that today's session is super it's just like a conversation. I don't want it to be, strict and like a workshop and like I'm talking to you. I want to be talking with you. Think of us all like just sitting at a table, having a dinner together and just discussing. That's how I'm designing this for my audience. If you ever have questions at any time, drop them in. We'll talk about it and go from there. We're not going to be on a strict time or anything, but it will definitely be under an hour. And I'm thinking it's going to be like a 30-minute session. And then we can just like have a conversation and ask your questions, and then I can answer them because I know everybody has very different questions, and I really want to touch base on all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the deck and talk about it. It's not full. It's not a lot of information because, like I said, I just want it to be a conversation. I'm going to talk myself. Just give me a minute. Okay, great. So I hope that everybody can see everything. So audience analysis in public speaking. Welcome. I'm not going to read through everything. Like I said, I've already sent this to you. You all can read it on your own time and go through it. If you have any questions later, you can feel free to email me. I know you all have my information. This is about me. As you all know, I'm a design strategist. I went to a private design school. I've been working in the design industry forever, my entire career. And I'm kind of shifting to the point where I do a lot of public speaking. I do a lot of workshops and talks. In the beginning, I started doing design talks, which I still do a lot of. And then somehow people started noticing that they liked the way that I did the design talks, that they were comfortable, they were happy with them. And then they started asking me how I did it. So that's kind of how I got into public speaking. It's really important. My journey has been very short. I haven't been doing this for a long time. People seem to think I've been talking for years. Actually, 1 year ago today, I wasn't doing this at all. I hated to speak. I wouldn't even get on the Zoom like this and talk to anybody. I was super shy and nervous. I got a lot of anxiety. I still make mistakes constantly. I'm sure you will see me make many mistakes today, but you make less mistakes every single time, and you feel less nervous and you have less anxiety. And the reality is that whenever you know the topic that you're speaking about, you don't really get as nervous. So I know about design, and because of design, I've learned how to speak publicly. I always do prefer to talk about design and things going on in the industry. That will always be in my heart. So hopefully I can teach you all how to be a little better with these things, because the reality is we're living in a world that's super saturated with content and people constantly. And being creative as being designers, it's just not enough anymore in any industry. You really have to stand up and work on your personal brand equity. You have to learn how to talk. You have to learn how to be a graceful speaker. These are very important for your career in today's world, because if you're not going to do it, somebody else is going to do it. It's good to learn how to be a subject matter expert. Thought leaders, these are what people are looking at today. These are why I'm getting asked to do talks and interviews, is because I did this myself and nobody came to me. You have to force it. And actually this platform, ADPLIST, it's really, really great. Huge shout out to ADPLIST and Felix, because little sessions like this is my practicing. And you all are so amazing and always ask such great questions as designers globally around the world. Everybody has different questions and it helps me in my public speaking. So I'm a big advocate for you doing things like this to practice. So let's start. So basically, it's very important to have confidence, as we just said. And today we're going to talk about audience analysis, which is knowing your audience. There is a plethora of information to know about public speaking. There's many branches to the tree. We're not going to get into all of those today, just because there's just not enough time. I mean, these are huge workshops. But I think the most important aspect of it is knowing your audience. Every audience is different. For you all as creatives, I know very well that if I don't make it fun and entertaining and beautiful, if I don't smile, if I'm not warm, you're going to be bored and you're going to leave. I can't approach maybe older businessmen in the same way that I would approach this audience, because maybe this would be too creative, too fun for them, too light. So it's very important to know these steps and to know who you're speaking to, so that you can make sure to get your message across and that you can actually give them knowledge and pass it along. Public speaking is one of the top fears in the world. People are putting it next to being afraid of heights and being afraid of snakes. So it's pretty big. It's like 70 to 80% of the biggest fear in the world. So people are very scared of it. And I get it. It's scary when you feel like you're on stage, people are judging you, people are looking at you as an authority figure. It's a big weight on your shoulder when people give you their time. Time is very valuable. So when other people give you their time, you really need to be prepared. You need to give them something. You need to help them and to guide them and to actually send them home with some tools so that they can be a better person. Design thinking, as designers, you all know, as designers, engineers, most people understand basic design thinking methodologies. It's very important in public speaking too, in designing your workshop, the techniques that will help you be effective presenters, which is exactly why you're all here today. So variables, what are variables? Variables are the things that make us different. We all have many variables, different heights, different accents, different languages, different religions, different ages. I mean, the list goes on and on. These variables are very important. These variables are what makes us, us. They're what makes humanity, humanity. But it's very important to understand these variables in your audience. Very, very important. You have to organize a clear and persuasive presentation and deliver it with confidence. As we talked about before, the subject matter expert is an individual who has knowledge in their field. You can be multiply subject matter experts. I could be a subject matter expert in public speaking, in the design industry, many different things. A thought leader is somebody that has a high level of expertise, usually just one thing. So what are our human variables that make us different from one another? So these are the top list that I have whenever I'm designing a presentation, when I'm going to deliver a public speaking, speech, workshop, anything. These are what I'm looking at: age, gender, economic status, educational background, career paths, religion, and culture. Sometimes when you're living as an American, if I'm living in America, sometimes I might not think about religion or culture. I'm from a place that doesn't have a lot of different religions or cultures. You know, we're pretty much all the same. So it's not something that I have to personally look at back home. But as an expat that lives in Saudi Arabia, we have a melting pot of cultures and religions. This is something very important. You know, maybe I can't say like an improper joke in a room of Muslims. It would be tacky and it wouldn't be nice. Maybe I can't joke about like alcohol. Maybe I couldn't, you know, say something about trips or vacations if I'm in a room with people that maybe don't have the same kind of economic status as I do. So these little things are super important when you're speaking to people. I was at the Saudi Youth Society a couple months ago giving a speech. The way that I spoke to them, I didn't have a microphone. I didn't get on stage. I wore very casual clothes. I didn't have a PowerPoint presentation in the background. I just spoke to them. I smiled. I looked around because these are high school students. They're not going to have fun with these things. They need to see that I'm fun and that I'm talking to them as people. That's how I read that audience. And that's very important to approach people differently like this. Considerations, also super important. So whenever there's an audience, you always, if you're ever going to be speaking or giving a workshop or anything like this whatsoever, before you go, don't just say, okay, I'll go. And don't just show up one day and when it's time to do it. You always beforehand go and check it out in person if you can. Ask for pictures, ask questions. What kind of microphones will you be using? There's handhelds. Sometimes they don't have a microphone. There's the head kinds. I hate the head kinds. They echo. So for me personally, I always get very nervous if I have these. So I make sure to have my own hand microphone. The room size, maybe it's huge and there's echoes and it messes up the sound and it makes people not be able to hear you. Maybe there's noise, there's music playing. All of these things are very important. The lighting, maybe people can't see me, maybe they can't see my deck. Is my computer, did they have things to show my PowerPoint presentation? Do I need to put it in the back? What do I need to bring? What tools can they give me? Temperature, the clothes that you wear. Of course, you want to wear something that looks nice on camera. I set up straight. There's always going to be pictures and photographers and videos somewhere. Don't want to be like this. Trust me, I've done all of these things. And it's awkward. So you really have to watch everything that you do all the time. You don't want to wear tight clothes. You don't want to wear shoes that are uncomfortable. You have to design your outfit, your hair, your makeup, everything like this. The length, the time of the day. Maybe if it's late look, I knew this was an awkward time. I knew this before coming. However, it was important that I did it at this time because of this side of the world. But I knew that it wasn't a great time going in. So little things like that, knowing your audience, is very important for these aspects of designing your program for public speaking. This one is probably one of my main things that I say over and over. And if you learn anything from this, if you take anything away whatsoever, please, it's this. It does not matter how much you talk. You can talk all day long, hear yourself talking constantly. But the reality is people don't care about what you have to say. Nobody came here to hear me talk. You came here because you're wanting to learn something and grow as a person, which bravo to you. You want me to teach you something. You want to learn and you want to grow. And I always think of this in everything that I do. And every time that I talk, I'm like, Brandie, how can you solve a problem? How can I teach a lesson that's going to solve a problem? What is the pain point that I can help them with? This is very important. I need to teach you something. When you're speaking, you have this duty to teach a pain point and to fix a problem. And it's very important that every time that you go in, that you make sure that you're doing that. You're talking, but in the end, here's how I can help you. This is the next steps. This is what you need to do. Very important. You have to recognize that the audience's goals. Your goals was you wanted to be a better public speaker. That's your goals. And I needed to create this entire session to do that for you. The most common speech objectives are to inform, to inspire, to persuade, and to entertain. It's not easy doing this. It's very hard because I need to teach you. I need to inspire you. I need you to be happy. I need you to like my energy. I need you to feel good. I need you to like the vibe that I'm giving. I need to persuade you that you can do it. I also need to entertain you. I have to recognize those goals, and I have to design this presentation to make sure that it does. Some of the key factors of considerations, which I've already told you, is body language. I have to make sure to smile whenever I'm speaking. I've been to many, many talks where people are just talking serious. Hey, how are you? This is what we're going to do today. Here and here and here. Do you like this? No. I smile because you're drawn to me and that makes you feel comfortable. And it's my job to as a speaker to make you feel comfortable. Topic of the knowledge of the topic. See, I told you I mess up all the time. Knowledge of the topic. If I don't know what I'm talking about, like I said, I have some special things that I'm good at: public speaking, brand equity, design. I couldn't get on stage and talk about something completely out of my league. I wouldn't know what it is and I wouldn't be good and you would know it, and it's not fair. Proper prep and rehearsal helps reduce your fears by 75%. This is true. I have made so many mistakes, y'all. I've been to places where I didn't prepare because I thought that I knew what I was talking about. Went through it very quickly. Didn't have anything to talk about. It's not good. Don't do it. It's much better to over prepare, have questions ready, have stuff ready to go. Prepare, rehearse a lot. Like I said, though, you're still going to make mistakes, and that's okay as long as you can smile and laugh with it. And sometimes I actually think that the audience enjoys to see that we're human and that we're imperfect and they can do this. They say that this person, oh, she made a mistake, he made a mistake. They smiled, they noticed that they did this, but they kept going. We're humans, we're not robots. And this is something, it's just going to happen. People ask me all the time, should I do jokes to lighten the audience? Somebody asked me this actually at the Saudi Youth Society. Should I tell a joke? What kind of joke should I tell to make everybody laugh? I'm like, you should not tell any jokes. I've told jokes before. Nobody laughed. Jokes are very subjective. And it's just better to leave little things off like this. Of course, tell little stories here and there, as long as it's sticking to the point at hand. But yeah, you really have to remember that most of your stories, your personal stories and your jokes and these kinds of things are very subjective, and most people don't like them and they don't care. Building communication skills through simple speaking opportunities. This right here, you all have access to platforms like this. You all have access to social media. You all have access to a plethora of things. Do it. Go for it. Every single time I try to make myself do a session like this. And by the way, this is my first solo session. I'm a little nervous. I haven't done one solo before, and it can be a little awkward because you don't have anybody to talk to and go back and forth with. But I knew that as a speaker, to grow and to build my own communication skills, that I had to do this. It's very important to do things like this. Go and do this. Make your own sessions off of the topics that you're great at, off of the topics that you want to become SMEs of, over the topics that you want to be a thought leader of. Whatever that is, we all wear different hats, and these things are super important. And I promise they work a lot. You look back at yourself after a session like this, say, okay, well, it wasn't so great that I did this. I made a mistake doing this. I could have done better at this. You know, write those down instantly the next day, right after the session, and grow from there. And this is my favorite equation when it comes to public speaking, or basically any sort of workshop that I'm doing, any talk that I do. At the end of the day, the most important equation to remember is prep and practice equals perfection. And I'm going to be very wary with the word perfection. Perfection is also super subjective. Everybody says you can't be perfect. You can't do this. You can't do that. Well, I say that everybody has their own definition of perfection. My perfect is not the same as your perfect, and it shouldn't be. It's subjective. Maybe for me, being perfect, means speaking elegantly, or upgrading my knowledge, or wearing a certain outfit, or maybe somebody else perfection is having perfect makeup all the time, or whatever. At the end of the day, perfection is all personal. We all have our personal perfection that we strive to, our goals. That's a good thing. Just prep and practice constantly. And of course, I think most of you already know my information. I would also really like you all to follow Creativity Clinic, which I am a creative consultant for them. They are based in Dubai, but we're working all over the Middle East and different areas in America, just making sure that the creative industries have a voice to be heard. So yeah, you can follow us on LinkedIn to know more about that. And again, thank you, ADPLIST. I have been a mentor with ADPLIST for quite a while now, since they first started the platform. And it's been going really great, as you all know. So yeah, I think that it's a super little quick session, and let's get into the questions. If anybody wants to go on the microphone or the video and ask questions, we can, or if you want to chat, just let me know what you want. Can everybody see the question and answers? Honestly, this is the first time I've done a session solo, like I told you, so I've never really had to do the technical aspects. So I'm trying my best. So let's see. Beatrix has asked how to prevent the anxiety during presentations. Sometimes we have anxiety and forget what to say. Matrix, I do this all the time. I do this all the time. One of the things that I do, and I think you guys have already noticed this 2 times. Sometimes whenever I start thinking, because I'm very diplomatic with my words, and I always really try to be positive. I never say anything negative. I always try to say things like it's a pain point. It's something that we need to work on. That's very important for me. In how I speaking and how I want to represent myself and what I do. So sometimes you can see my mind working, you can see my eyes looking. This is me trying to find the right words to make sure that I do that. And sometimes I will start tripping over my words and start stuttering or say something wrong. Very embarrassing, but I guess it's better than falling. So I would say that the anxiety, it's normal. It's scary. You never get over that scariness. It never stops the anxiety. I have anxiety now. It never goes away, but I don't have anxiety like I did a year ago, to where I couldn't smile or laugh, or I would, my voice was low. Every single time is better. Just keep doing it. Keep standing up and don't ever sit down. Keep doing sessions like this. Do your own session. Get on social media, on live, continue going, continue doing it every single time. And just like I said, prep, have things prepared just in case. Always prep and keep going. And that's the best way to kill the anxiety. Any tips to overcome boredom? This is a really good one. So let me show you a trick. So I just popped a little fun quiz for everybody. So little interactive things like this. It's hard when you're by yourself, but it's really important, especially for creatives like today. You're going to get bored if I don't talk and if we don't laugh. So this is an example, and what I did, this example is exactly what you do. This keeps people interested. I did a session about legal rights for designers, legal rights, designers, boring, right? I did stuff like this, funny little questions and stuff like this. They were interactive and they liked it. And they told me, actually, I thought this was so boring, but I ended up liking your session. You have to make it fun. As designers, you have to design everything. You have to make it fun. Like, how can I make it fun? I'm smiling, I'm laughing, I'm telling jokes, I'm being real. I'm putting funny quizzes in. So today's quiz is, what kind of Zoomer are you right now? Are you fully dressed? Are you in your pajamas? Are you half dressed here and half not down there? Are you in your birthday suit? What is everybody wearing today? Right now, what are you wearing? I've been on a call before where I've had a blazer and I've had like a pair of like pajama shorts on the bottom. It's normal. So yeah, Beatrix, to answer your question, this is how you keep people from online. Online can get much more boring. It's so much harder to do talks and sessions and to speak online than it is in person. In person, there's something real about it and raw, and we can kind of interact with one another, and you don't feel like pressured, like to make sure that everybody's happy. I can't see you, I don't know how you feel. I don't know if I'm giving you stuff. You miss this human element in the online sessions, and that's something that the online ones are much more difficult. They're easy and they're important. Actually, this session, I did it a month ago, and there was many people here in Saudi Arabia that wanted to do it. They didn't get to take part because it was specifically for the youth. Only the youth, like really young high schoolers or young universities could come. So a lot of people wanted to be part of it, but they weren't able to. So I made this session to record it so that they could kind of watch it and be part of it too. So thanks, everybody. It seems that everybody is half dressed and half in their pajamas. So that means that you're ready to come on camera. There's the results. So let's see, how to politely answer questions from audience if we don't know the answer. Well, what I've learned is just honesty is the best thing. If you're going to try to answer a question that you don't know, you're not going to look that intelligent because people can tell that you don't know it. And if you're on a panel, of course, you have people that are thought leaders and subject matter experts. So maybe you could pass it to them. If you're by yourself and people ask you questions, and they do all the time, I've been on stage many times whenever people ask me something that has absolutely nothing to do with what we're speaking about. So you have to really be prepared. It's not nice. It's human nature though. And to be respectful of the people that are there on the topic and of your panel and of the topic itself, you really have to say, well, thank you for your question. Maybe after we're done talking, I can talk to you privately, or maybe next, or thank you for that question. Maybe that'll be a really good topic for another talk in the future. If you don't know, just say, thank you for that question. We'll discuss it later, or I'd like to discuss it with you privately, or to find somebody that might know the answer for you. So always kind of do it this way. Don't shut them down, but don't shut yourself down too. It's a chance to grow and to connect at a later date. What are things that we should keep in that could lose the audience attention? Everything that we're talking about. I think one of the biggest things is your body language. Body language is very, very important. This is the quickest way to lose your audience: being boring, having a monotone voice like this. Hey, everybody, how are you? My name is Brandie. How are you today? Not smiling, not looking at one person, or just looking at a paper. This is very hard sometimes, because this is why it's important to prepare, because you don't want to be robotic. You don't want to read a deck. I had a lot of text on this deck. That's why I send it to you all, so you could read it yourself. You're going to be bored if I'm just sitting there reading it. So I'm trying to touch points and to talk to you. This is very important. Is your body language smiling? Hi, how are you, everybody? Thank you. Welcome for coming. These kinds of things, it makes people feel good. Like, oh, she's talking to me. Yes, I'm talking to you. I want to talk to you. I don't want to read. These are the most important things. I would say your body language is very, very important. How do you modify your content based on your audience analysis? So the content, that's a good question, John. Of course, it's for me, John. John is a top consultant and also one of my mentors. So thank you for coming. He has really good questions, and he always makes my mind grow a little more. That's the thing. Like I said, for this talk, it's much more relaxed. This is a designers. These are creatives. I can be relaxed with you all. If I'm going to be too meticulous, you're going to be bored and you're going to leave. However, if I'm going to like a business meeting with top business people, I can't be as open as this. It has to be much more presentable. I have to be on it. I have to have a deck thorough. I have to design it for this audience. Youth, let's talk about age. The youth, like I told you before, I was talking to them. I didn't have a microphone. I didn't want them to feel uncomfortable. I didn't stand on a stage. I didn't want to look down on them. Stages make me very uncomfortable. Now, even I designed my laptop, you don't see this. My laptop is sitting on about 6 books. I learned a really good tip from one of my other mentors too. She told me, whenever you're doing talks like this online, it's always better to be looking at them in the eye and to make your laptop eye level, because it makes people uncomfortable when you're looking down at them like this, and they feel like you're looking down at them and you're talking down to them, and you never want your audience to feel this way. So yes, just little things like this when you're designing the program matter a lot, and you really do have to shift everything. Your decks, your outfits. I dressed a little more professional today than I did with the Saudi youth, because I know that they're going to feel a little intimidated by maybe the way that I would dress. At Saudi Index, as the chairwoman, I wore a suit because that was my crowd, and I needed to analyze it. Do you ever conduct audience surveys before and after? Well, I'm glad that you asked this, because I have a survey for you all now. I'm going to drop it in. So this one is actually about variables. This is variables, and this is the first thing that I told you about when we were speaking, is about the different human variables that make us who we are. These things are very important in knowing your audience. I just wanted to see how everybody is in here. Little things like this, you might not think that it's that important, but this is research. This is audience research. Maybe I will see that we had this type of designer or that type of designer, or a lot of people from this country or this age group. This helps me with my research in the future. Okay, well, most of the people that were listening to me talk about public speaking were between the age of this and this. So that helps me design my talk for that age group, to where maybe I don't know that now, but at a later date, it helps. Surveys are very important, you all, for online. And again, it also keeps the attention. People, we love to talk about ourselves, and people love to answer polls and questions. I mean, as long as they're like, you design them to kind of be easy and not to have to talk a lot. The reality is, when you start asking big questions and people start typing, they get bored and they leave. So Camilla says, I often give presentations of my work to my colleagues. How do I make sure that what I'm saying sticks in their mind? Well, what I like to do is I use minimal decks. Now, not everybody does this. A lot of people like to use colors and lots of fonts and all of these things. I've always found that minimal white with black and simple, it makes the words pop more. It makes me read it more. It makes my mind stick to it more, and not a lot of heavy content. When there's a lot of heavy content, your eyes just skim through it, and you don't always listen, because that's just, it's human nature. I use tools. I use an AI tool called WordTune. So basically, I'll take everything that I write and I will put it in WordTune. WordTune, it's my favorite feature for writing. If you follow me on social media, my decks, everything is used through this. I take my words that I write and I throw it in there, and I kind of tone it down. So it has a way to make it more formal, more professional, and shorter. And this is very important in speaking, because sometimes when we talk a lot, or we use big words, or it's long, it's kind of smoke and mirrors. And you always hear that if you can't explain what you do or what you have to say to a child, you're not doing it right. So keep this in mind. Is this understandable? One of my mentors also told me, and take this with a grain of salt, speak to everybody like they're not that smart. And this has really helped me, because sometimes we're talking to, and I don't mean it in a bad way whatsoever, but a lot of times we're speaking to people and we expect everybody to know what we know. But the reality is that they don't. We're all very different. And the things that we talk about are different. The things that I know is different from you. You probably know many more things than I do. And if you're talking to me about it, I'll be like, what? I don't understand. So the point of me saying that is that you should, be very clear and short in the way that you're speaking to people, and they will remember it easily. Any tips to create stunning title slide for presentation? Again, WordTune is your best friend. I basically will put everything through there and use it for titles, for everything. I like to, you will see that I typically it's very important for me. As a design strategist, business language is very important for me. And it's very important for me to show everybody that, hey, she's a creative, but she has a business background. She knows best business practices. She speaks in a business language, because this is something that I'm trying to show that our industry, hey, we're not just all creativity, we have brains too. So the way that I word things may be different from the way like a graphic designer is wording things, because my mission is different. My mission is to teach that we have this business aspect, and just even the title of this course, I made it this way purposely because I want people to understand the power of business language, and you can word it this way. But of course, again, knowing your audience, I'm not going to word it this way for the youth who I just said, no, it was literally called Know Your Audience, because that was them and how I needed to speak to them. And did you ever host hands-on design workshops? If yes, how to make the workshop more engaging? Yes, I do. I host a lot of workshops. So I'm actually in my office right now. The name of our company is called Adlal, which means shade in Arabic. As you all know, I'm an American that's living in Saudi Arabia. And I've been working with this company for several years. And I do a lot of community things. Luckily, I love our design community and I love our local community. I'm a very social person. So typically the projects that I'm doing and the work that I'm doing is community-based, it's social-based, it's people, it has that human element, which is very important for me. And I love it. And so I started an initiative actually this past summer called the Majlis. So for those that don't know, a Majlis in Arabic is basically a setting room. I'm sure you've seen on shows and things like this, people sitting down on the floor with beautifully designed rooms. This is a Majlis. It's where people sit and talk. And so this term, sometimes we use it in other aspects as a gathering place, getting together. I created the Majlis through Adlal, and these kinds of it's community-led research, it's hands-on workshops, and I designed them in a specific way because, for example, design thinking workshops, we use Post-its, whiteboards, I use a plethora of little things like that. I put on different stations. So I usually will have 5 stations. On every station, I will put a notepad with pen, I'll put a whiteboard with marker, and I'll put Post-its. Why? Not everybody likes the same thing. I'm trying to engage I'm trying to engage them to answer the questions. Somebody might see a whiteboard and they might think like, I don't like whiteboards, but then they see the pen, oh, I like the pen. So I give them options. Options are very important. I allow them to write in Arabic or English. I'm in a country where English is the mother tongue. I have to respect that. And you have to respect these things. They want to write it in answer in Arabic. They want to answer in English. That's fine. Very important in the approach to design workshops is knowing your audience. Again, I don't have chairs. I designed the room to not have chairs. Why? Because I don't want people to sit down. I want people to walk around and to engage and to talk. I make sure that the tables are spaced away. There's rooms at the stations so that there's room to walk. I'm designing it this way. So yes, the answer is yes, I designed lots of hands-on workshops, and there is an art to that. Again, everything is design. And you really need to know your audience for everything, for design workshops, for absolutely everything. And then you can create a beautiful event, a beautiful speech, a beautiful workshop for everybody. I want to go through the comments. Thank you, everybody. It was really nice thank you for your time. If anybody else has any more questions, feel free. I think that we've probably answered everything that we can in regards to public speaking. I'm going to give everybody the link one more time so that you can download my deck yourself and to keep it. And again, I'm going to drop my email here in the comments. so that if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. And yeah, we're going to be posting this creativity clinic, and myself will be posting this on YouTube for everybody to watch. That actually, I know our biggest audience is in America, but it's very early there right now. They're just starting their day. Everybody's at work. We knew this going in, but that'll be there for them when they wake up tomorrow. And yeah, I'll send out a session to everybody. And it was really lovely to have this time with you all. And I really hope that you all got something out of this. I hope that that I've made you feel excited about being your best self, and to let you know that you can do it. I've did all of this in 1 year, and if I can do it, you can do it. And I hope that you do it much faster and better than I do. I believe in you all so much, and I really want the best for you. And like I said, if you don't stand up, somebody else will take your place. Don't waste time sitting down. I wasted many years, and yeah, I know that you're all going to be amazing. And like I said, I am your design sister. Um, you can ask me anything at any time. And thank you for your time. And it was great to see you all. And I hope that you all have a wonderful evening. Ciao.